That's a rough start. Show my ass. If anyone's in there, let's see. Let's see. Okay, there I am. Somewhat frozen, but oh, let's turn the volume off here. Why, hello, is anybody in there? Let me see what's going on here. Slow typer. Hey, Kevin Keller's in the house. How you doing, man? Hey, thanks for the donations, man. Kevin is a regular uh, backer of me, I guess would be the thing to say. Rosemary's in the house. So these are all my friends. See, in other days, we could just hang out at my house, but we know that we can't do that right now. Uh, so thanks for tuning in. I've renamed this show like 19 times. Uh, Folks mostly ask for Sparky, and I'm telling you right now, she's getting ready to fly right into this thing. Come on, it's your night. You're up early. You're missing this. She's leaning in. Want some help? Want some help? There you go. You got it? All right, Sparky's in the house. As people ask for this, is a magnificent beast, and she doesn't usually stay up to stream uh, Saturday night, and it's also like now it's getting close to her bedtime, so she gets a little bitey, and not in a nasty way. It's just part of her way. So again, thanks for tuning in. How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing all right? You hanging tough in there? Everybody doing good? All right. Let's see, everyone. Yeah, smash that share button. Here's what's going on. Um, I've been writing a book for like 3 million years. I have great stories, things that happened to me in my career. Um, and this is a thing where I can get to read the chat a little bit too. So I've got a big rant coming up Saturday night that I don't want to get involved with here because we're trying to keep this a happy, fun place. So let me get going with in May 17th. I've got notes. I can use notes. Sparky, I'm making her crazy already. All right. I've got some notes here. Okay, so May 17th will be my 29-year anniversary in stand up comedy, which apparently I'm going to be celebrating right here in this living room. So that's kind of a little bit weird of a thing. I get to hand pick my weekends. Harrisburg Comedy Zone was going to be that weekend. That's a great room, but bye bye to that. So I got some notes here, and like I say, I've had some glorious things happen to me. If I do reruns here, sorry about that. But I met quite a few celebrities in my career. When I started comedy in the basement of the Radisson Hotel, I think it was the Americus, I don't know what it was called. Um, that would have been May 17th, 1991. I had hooked up with the WZZO morning show. It wasn't Bearman at the time, it was Keith and John in the morning. And I phone in and say stupid shit. And then I crashed it one day for reasons I couldn't tell you. I went in there um, with a funnel cake shaped like the Z95 call letters. And the one guy, John Carvey, half owner of the comedy club, said, "We thought you were an old man. If you want to whip up a guest set, fantastic." I don't know when that was. It would have been early in 1991, January, February. Uh, actually probably like March, maybe somewhere in there. So I've spent a whole month or so trying to get ready. 5 minutes of comedy, and then I called him back. Apparently, it was May that week. Said, got my 5 minutes. Uh, Booked me a slot, and me like a dumbass. This was a Thursday. Would have had to been May 16th. I thought it would take a long time for them to give me a slot, and he was like, "Okay, great. We'll see you tomorrow night." Tomorrow night, fuck me in a bucket of goo. So that's where it started, and some cool shit happened there too. They had I was lucky enough to host like almost every weekend for like no money, um, just to get stage time, incredible stage time. But they had big star comedians right down the street at Symphony Hall, and they stayed at the Americas. And there was this big room. Um, I dropped my favorite pen. I'll just make sure I don't lose it, because if I lose my pen, that's it. I'll be off my meds. Lose my freaking mind. So they would stay at the Americas Hotel, and while we were downstairs in the basement, there was a lot of buzz that Yakov Smirnov, the Russian comedian, was upstairs with his family. They just wrapped up his show, and they didn't really have private rooms in those days for dining and stuff, so they had these giant curtains. So the knucklehead guy at the Comedy Den that ran the door, Fred, he used to be Fred, the safety officer from ZZO. Uh, they were peeking through this curtain, a big tall curtain, like fucking 5 stories up, uh, and seemed like Yakov Smirnov was in there in this room, far away from us, on one real long Game of Thrones tables, surrounded by apparently his entourage, friends and family. Then another nitwit was trying to peek through, and I started to peek through too. And I'm like, this is the fucking stupidest thing that we're what the hell's wrong with us sitting here like a bunch of assholes? So I'm going in. Everyone peeking through that curtain almost shit their pants, and I walked right in there and I said, "Excuse me, but me and my nitwit friends were over there peeking through the curtain quite rudely, uh, far less rudely than I am doing right now, but we believe you are Yakov Smirnov," and I just had to come over and say hello. And then he's so nice because, yes, I'm Yakov Smirnov. And then he asked me who I was. Raymond the Amish comic. I said, I'm just starting out. I don't even have a couple months under my belt. And he goes, "Sit, we are needing Amish comic." And that's the true story. I'll have to write it better for my eventual book. But and I tweeted that story at him every so often, and then he's a nice guy. He says, "How do you do?" And like I say, much like my show, my stories don't really have a start or an end to them. I'm peeking in the chat here, see who's in there. Let's see. COVID left. 3 weeks ago, COVID layoff. Steve still hasn't. Oh, don't get me started on the claims. Here's the thing. I didn't want to rant about this on Casual Night, but I'm going to do it. They were showboating that the entertainment industry, gig workers, would be finally covered for unemployment. I was so happy, delirious with joy, cartwheeling. I started streaming to get donations to keep us floating until that gig worker unemployment kicked in. The site's a fucking nightmare. It's terrible. I finally got in. I applied. Uh, Long story, even longer. I'm not getting dick. I don't. If I eventually ever get any money, it's going to be a long way from now, and it's shit money. It is fucking chump change. If you apply on that site, we are sole proprietors. We are in business for ourselves. That's what gig workers are. And I got to the end of this thing, and then they had unresolved issue, unable to verify your employer. My employer is fucking me. It is me. What do you want me to send you a fucking selfie? There's nobody in there that has an employer. That's what sole proprietor means. That's what self-employed means. So this site to help self-employed sole proprietors, they don't even fucking know what a sole proprietor is. So once they sort that out, and it's probably going to take like another 10 viruses till they sort that happy horse shit out, then to make things even more nutser for me, dick move they did is they showed me the amount of money I would get if I eventually got any money, which I do not believe that I am. And I almost shit myself, not because it was so much. I thought I accidentally put in information that would lead them to believe I was a high school teenager working part time at fucking McDonald's. And if you have gone through this system, not this one in particular, but any system, the phone calls, you have to be on hold for 90 hours. It's 20, 30 hours to get through. Then they bounce you back to the website. Then you go on the website. Then you go and they tell you to call. Your call is very important to us, but we are experiencing unusually long wait times. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going through it. I can't go through that because it gets me really fucking mad. And then I'd rather would spend my 20, 30 hours instead of being mad there working on my live stream. That's why donations are critical for me right now. I'm getting like 10,000 views per episode, which is rock star. Donations are coming in. I got my regulars in there, man. They're helping out. But to keep this thing going, my brain is like, I think people want to donate, but they don't have any money, and B, they're a little embarrassed to give a shitty donation, like 2, 3, 4, $5. They're like, ah, I'm too embarrassed. I'd rather do nothing. No, do not be embarrassed. Think of poor me, how embarrassing it is for me to ask you for that money. That's what's going on there. But now that we're going to cover that later on Saturday night. Basically, donations are my salary right now. So that's a kicking the Amish balls right there. Back to awesome comedians that I met in my life. I don't know the year. I'm guessing 1996, 1997, somewhere in there. Um, I was going to be performing at the Raja Theater in Reading, which is now the Santander Center or whatever the fuck they call it. Um, I sold it out in 7 days, and my agent took all that money, but his wife left him and took half of his money and all of mine. But that's another story for another night. Um, I was a nervous wreck. George Carlin had the previous record of a 12-day sellout show. He was going to be there about a month before I was, and I mostly wanted to get backstage, A, to meet George Carlin, and B, I actually thought this up myself. Um, the sound of 2,000 people laughing and clapping is both awesome and fucking overwhelming. It can buckle you at the knees. I've had comedians on shows with me that weren't ready for those kind of numbers. So I huckstered a deal to hang out backstage and not bother George Carlin or his people at all, just so I could hear what 2,000 people sounded like. And George Carlin was so fucking nice to me. I'll never forget what he did for me. Um, he knew I was there, and his people knew I was there. And George Carlin was in a green room and in a dressing room. An opening act of his was on stage, and George Carlin was like this, and he was focusing, and he was going over notes and shit, and people were trying to get in there to bother him. Just I wasn't the only nitwit back there, and I blocked. I took it upon myself to block assholes like me from going in there to bother George Carlin, uh, and he heard me stopping people from coming in, and he gave me a little smile, and I didn't even know that I thought I was being like subtle about it. But somebody tried to get past me. I'm like, I don't want to be a dick, but I think if you're a comedian or surgeon or race car driver, whatever you do, if you're doing this, that means you're concentrating and you don't want to be bothered. So I would wait until George Carlin is done doing this, and then we'll go from there. He loved that so much. He came out, he said hello to me, and he said that he knew I was there to try to listen to what 2,000 people were like when they were clapping and stuff. So George Carlin took me, the dumbass that I am, on the stage behind a black curtain, dead center, while his opening act was on stage, and he tasked me with trying to find. He told me this. He said, "You got to play to the hot spots of your room, and then you don't want to neglect the other spots, but you throw your best material on the hot spots of the room, and then you kind of spray it around like wildfire a little bit." And my homework was actually to listen to his opening act tell a story, and then try to find the hot spots of the room. So we'd hear a thing, and then I'd hear laughing, and I'd point over there, and then he'd give me little golf claps, and then I'd point over there, and that was like fucking totally amazing. So he taught me actually how to listen to the hot spots of a crowd, play my best material there, and then kind of spin it all around. And then he was so nice to me. He pet my beard, loved my beard. Um, then I asked him how he, not that I thought I would ever get famous, but I said, how do you deal with the rock star fans? And because people go nuts and they're screaming, and it's going to take 9 hours for you to get out of here. And he laughed. He goes, "It's not going to take me 9 hours to get out of here because I don't want to be a dick, but I can't just interact with fans. It's too big anymore. I love it, but it's amazing." And so what's going to happen is on the other side of that stage, those are garage doors, while I am getting my second ovation, he wasn't being a dick. He just knew what was going to happen. While I'm getting my second standing ovation, those garage doors are going to open up. A limo is going to pull up, open up, and I will get in it probably while they are still applauding me. And I'm like, that is fucking incredible. And then we'll watch the whole show, and that is exactly what happened. And when he, just before he got in his limo, he looked over at me on the other side of the stage, and he knew that I was watching it. He did a big bow, and I gave him one of these. And so that's kind of cool. That's what I'm doing here now, man. Stories from my eventual book. Peeking in the chat here. Is anybody, did I miss any questions? Is anybody? Let's see. Come on, man. Don't do Puerto Rican jokes in there. That's not good. I'm sorry. All right, I don't see any real questions in there other than let's see. Mama Bear. That has nothing to do with Bear Man, does it? PayPal is very easy. Oh yeah, there's actual. You can PayPal me at amishcomic@gmail. I think there's something in the link for these things. If you go to the link for the event, it's right on this sign here too, right there. PayPal amishcomic@gmail.com. I have in my ticket links for some things. You can send some loot. I'm gonna need loot for a long fucking time. Like I say, if I have 10,000 viewers and people kick in $1, $2, man, that's fucking rock star. That's gonna keep me going. Right now, that is all I have going, which is a fucking lot. It's a lot better than most people have. Back to stories there. Larry Lily's in the house, you little pecker. Larry Lily, don't try to perform comedy in my chat. Get your own fucking career. I love you though. Larry's been with me for like ever. Let's see here. Stories from my eventual career. Larry Lilly booked me to the fire hall in Jim Thorpe. But then I got the Penn's Peak gig. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, Larry. I'm going to go from the fire hall to Penn's Peak. You know, you got to do it. So here I sit. Okay. I got lots of stories from the WZZO days. Tori Thomas and me were at Jeep races in Kempton accidentally on the same night. They hired me to like MC Jeep races. Like I don't have any fucking idea what to do it, but hey, I have no shame. I'll fucking MC the Jeep race. So Tori was there with WZZO, and they had contests going on, and she's a good friend of mine, so we were happy to see each other. So she was doing some live remotes. She had concert tickets to give away, and I don't remember who, but they were fucking really good ones. It might have been like Rolling Stones or something that you would really want to go see, right? So there's a circle of like 19 drunken Jeep drivers and bikers and all killers around. So we were mildly afraid. Chris, the prize freak, was there, hiding behind me. That little coward. He was scared. He thought the Amish guy would protect him. So you have to, when you're giving away tickets, you got to figure out how you're going to do it. So Tori Thomas decided that these people around us were going. Someone was going to have to do a trick of some sort. Anything, can anybody juggle or can anybody, whistle Dixie through their eyes? Does anybody have any kind of tricks they could do? Fucking nothing. It just flatlined. It just nobody could cartwheel, nobody could juggle, nobody could do a deep knee bend. So a, a 4,000-year-old biker and I love the bikers, but this was a bit extreme. He dropped his pants and went full Monty, and then that's actually when Chris, the prize freak, hid behind me. And that's the threesome we don't want to talk about right there. So the man he was full Monty. There was no pants on that man at all. He had no small clothing under there, nothing. Just me talking about it now, I'm going to need to go back into therapy to recover from this horrible event. And he said, "Hey, Raymond, here's a trick for you." And he dropped his pants. I'm, I'm pretty quick improvising and stuff, but in my artillery, I really don't have a good line to help somebody get their pants up quickly so I don't have to see their remnants of their 90-year-old schlong hanging out. So I told the guy, I said, "You can win these tickets by performing the stunt, the trick of pulling up your fucking pants." And he pulled them up, and he won. And then again, my stories don't really have a point or an end to them, but there you have it. So, peeking in the chat room here, there's Larry trying to do comedy. Are you buying from Amazon? Larry, do you have your own agenda? That's a stupid fucking question. Larry, every time you say something stupid in my chat, you're gonna have to send me $5. That you have penalty fees right there. Sparky's hanging out here. She is just chewing on nothing. I think that's when a bird is relaxed. Let's see here. More stories. Oh, this is a great one. Also, this is a real casual thing. I don't know how long to keep yapping here. It's probably already longer than I wanted to, but I'm going to grab some water, and that will piss off Sparky a little bit. She doesn't like when people reach over her. So that's just water. It's not moonshine. I see people in here are sharing stuff. That's really a great way to help me. Get the watching parties together. If you missed last week's episode, man, you missed a real barn burner. I come in with the big Broadway entrance, Phantom of the Outhouse, and that was a lot of fun. And then people were saying, "You should do like a big Broadway entrance every week." Sure, why not? I'll just write a fucking musical, and I'll come in. It's no problem to write a musical. Maybe I'll just do Raymond the Amish comic on ice and flood out my living room here and then skate around. But there was a lot of fun chat comments and shit for that. So I've got some stuff cooking for Saturday night. Back to my story time here. Well, I've had so many cool things happen to me in my career. Going back, the big hunk of the book, the early chapters will be heavily involving WZZO and Bearman and Keith. Wasn't even Bearman when I was there. It was Keith and John in the morning. And when Carfy was gone and the Bearman was there, I'm like, oh, fuck me in a bucket of goo. I am so screwed. Boy, was I wrong about that. Bearman has done more for my career and Keith than a lot of people. But I'm getting ahead of myself on the story here. So, I'm showboating because they're talking about Yakov Smirnoff and George Carlin. And this one I still can't believe happened to me. Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison did a commercial for me. And he knew exactly what he was doing. I'm a dick and I kind of set up. I didn't even get to meet him. But he knew exactly what he was doing. And then he did that thing where he went nuts. And again, this was WZZO. They had him on for an interview. I don't remember if it was the morning show, but he was on ZZO, and I I knew he was coming in, so I was doing my own show, Raimi Amish Comic, at the Days Inn Conference Center, and it was my version of the concert shirt, Moo Cow Tour, whatever year it was, and the all the show information was on that shirt. Raimi Amish Comic, Moo Tour 90, whatever the hell it was, Days Inn Conference Center in August, blah, 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 blah. The whole thing was there. So I put one of my concert shirts in a paper bag for Sam Kinison, and I gave it to my radio buddies. And would you, I know I can't come in, and I shouldn't phone in to make a dick out of him, even though you guys let me phone in to make a dick out of a lot of people. Would you just give him this shirt from me and tell him I'm a big fan, and it's kind of amazing thing to have him in there. So Sam Kinison on the air, they're talking to him and they're going, "Hey, local comedians just starting to get into this business a little bit. He gave us this gift to give to you." I knew totally what he was doing. He was on the air, and Sam Kinison takes the shirt out and reads my concert shirt on the air, which is basically a commercial for me. And he pretended like he didn't know that he was doing that, and then he went fucking nuts. He was like, Raimi Amish Comic, Moo Tour 90 whatever, August 2nd, Days Inn, Conference Center. Whoa, oh, oh, did I just do a commercial for another comedian? Oh! That was absolutely fucking amazing. So like I say, somehow I got to figure out how to write this book. Again, if you peckerheads were with me on last week's casual chat, I wasn't even sure. I did a few of these. I didn't know what I was going to do. Stories from my eventual book seems like the way to go. But also, you peckerheads remember Arnold Horshack, Ron Palillo from whatever show he was on. I don't even remember what show he was on. He decided he was going to do stand-up comedy. And he didn't have any experience at all, far less than me. Now, I was just emceeing in those days, but the people that are with me, that have been with me forever, like Larry Lilly and Barry Keith and fans that have been with me for fucking ever, I was just starting to cook right then. My career was just, I was ready to move from feature act, that's the middle guy. I wasn't emceeing, I did the 30 in the middle. I was getting ready to move to headliner because people were going nuts for me. So Ron Palillo didn't have any material prepared at all, so he could not headline. Headline comedian needs about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So what they did was they sold the show as $25 tickets, an evening with Ron Palillo and friends, and apparently I was one of his friends. So they put me on the show. They put another comedian on the show from New York. The Ron Palillo came out, he did like 15 minutes, and then he brought me up, and I did like 30 minutes, and then Ron Palillo came back up, and then did like 10 minutes in between, and he introduced the headliner. Now, Ron Palillo was really a nice guy, but he was a fucking terrible comedian because you can't just start doing stand-up comedy. I guess some people can, but it's not. It's either you got a natural talent for it and you don't have to do anything, which I don't believe anybody really, it's that easy for him, or you got to fucking work and put in your dues. So he just wanted to trade on his name of Ron Palillo from Arnold Horshack. But here's the kick in the balls. He didn't want to do the character at all that people knew him from, which I thought was kind of a dick move, because you're like, oh boy, let's go see Ron Palillo, Arnold Horshack, Welcome Back Kotter, I think that's what it was. Just like 2 or 3 minutes, do the character, tell a couple stories. Nope, no fucking way. So he bit it, man. He went down the shitter. His agent, who sat there clicking heads at the door, fucking loved me. He absolutely loved me. In fact, he arranged for me to headline The Late Show, and he lied to the New York comedian so he wouldn't have hurt feelings. He said, you have a long ride back. Why don't you go second, and then he can go third, and everything will be fine. So, yeah, okay, that was fucking cool. So that was actually my first headline spot, and that worked great for me at that comedy club, because once you get a headline spot, and it's sanctioned by like Ron Palillo's manager, they gotta fucking do it. But the story continues because uh, Ron Palillo's manager said, I would like to send you to the Catskills to perform. Are you willing to do that? Yes, absolutely. I had a piece of shit car, a Dodge Omni 024 that I spent $500 on, had holes in the floor. The doors were all fucking broken. The handles were broken. You had to climb in through a fucking back window. I didn't even know if we could make it up to the Catskills. My pay was going to be $150. And this was actually the next night he was going to send me up there, or a week later. So it's what he doesn't tell me is that he's sending me to like an all Italian slash mafia resort in the Catskills. And I said, do these people know who I am? And do they know what I'm going to do? Rain the Amish comic, cursing up a storm. He said, yes, you'll be fine. It'll be great. So I got up there. The car actually made it and back again. And when I walked into the lobby, my headshot, they drew an O on it and it said, appearing tonight, Raimondo, the Italian comic, which I thought wasn't even a joke. It just kind of locked me in fucking terror. And then people were walking up to, hey, you gotta better be funny. Oh. So they're expecting an Italian club, mafia rich people in the mountains were expecting an Italian comedian. So I was destined to be a tremendous disappointment for them. So they even had like old time, like them old nightclubs and shit. They had a band play me on, which was awesome and really fucking awkward. Like a 16-piece dance band played me on. And then they just kind of fucking stared at me. And I figured I gotta win these people over one way or the next one there. You gotta think that a booking agent really fucked up big time, because I gotta believe with all my heart that there's a Italian comedian in Lancaster right now grabbing his balls going, hey, what's going on? And the Amish audience is staring at him exactly the way you're staring at me. Again, my stories don't really have a point or an end to them, but there you go. So I see there's a lot of people in the chat here. I really do appreciate this. Let me tell you again that the donations are now critical for me. It's not even just a matter of, oh boy, this will supplement loot. I've got nothing coming in. I don't foresee being able to perform live for a while. As soon as they let us go back outside, I am in the middle of the suck ass, shitty, slow season. That's another reason that fucking gig workers relief, they don't know the fucking business. You peckerheads don't know the business. I love you, but you don't know. They would need an expert like me to come in there, not expert of comedy, expert of just, I've been through it all in show business, because summers suck for stand-up comedians and people that I love in this chat. My fans go, well, that's really odd. You would think comedy would be very popular in the summer. You would be wrong. That's what we're fucking up against here, because the summers are rock bands and this fest and that fest and golf outings and weddings and Little League. And so comedy goes right down the shitter. It's tough to make it through a summer. And so when this is done, I will be released into the shittiest part of the year. So they're going to need to figure some shit out. I will be begging for donations. It's absolutely amazing. I know people don't have any money, but we can include me in that. I think what people do is they see, oh, there's 10,000 views. He must be fucking rolling it. No. Donate if you can. I'm going to scroll through this chat. Somebody said, is Ray still alive? Yes, he is. He's still here. I'm babbling on. I got music now. You hear that? Not easy to do. YouTube, public domain music. There you go. So, any questions before I get out of here? Touch the screen. The red dot is there. I don't know what that means. But anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Sparky says, send donations because berry balls are expensive. I will be streaming live Saturday nights 8 o'clock for a while, definitely through May, and try to keep this Thursday night thing going. Um, I really appreciate it. I will be signing off as soon as I can figure out how to get up and get my ass over there, and I'll have to investigate what this red dot is. Sometimes people see a red dot because they've been fucking drinking, and that's just water. But Sparky's gonna help me turn this live stream off. You folks rock. I love my fans. Stay with me, and we'll see what happens. But I do got some surprises coming up Saturday night. So fuck me in a bucket of goo. Ow, Sparky. She's really sweet, but it's past her bedtime. I'm gonna put her over there. I'm gonna shut this off. Let's see here. If I can do this.